At the heart of the Huberson Project is a discovery. The Huberson Project is a new executive design house which guides leaders toward a new way of seeing and a new way forward for genuine stewardship of self, company, and the world.
So in setting the direction, somebody has to have the vision, they have to have the strategy, and they have to work with a resource allocation. That's the three elements of set the direction.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to have the vision, it's another thing for how to get there, and it's another thing to have the resources to do it, whether it's people or capital or whatever resource you're pointing to. As we look at that mindset, then for a CEO, they have to be considering all of that. And if they are considering, for example, a resource allocation before they're clear about vision, or if they're collapsing vision and strategy, then they may not really powerfully set the direction.
Well, they have you being an exceptional futurist, but that's about predicting the strategy from predicting the future based on the past.
Yeah.
Instead of co-creating with the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be less about strategy than about an engaged conversation. So if you were in a conversation with life in the future that wanted to happen, if you were in that conversation and you were brailing the future for sensing how what's the fractal wave already in motion, then it's not about strategizing for the future, it's aligning with the future and co-creating with the future. So then if we say that the intersection of differences is the opportunity, more than the dilemma itself. And the dilemma, there is a potential dilemma of, can you integrate those three assets, the three factors, the vision practice, the strategy practice, and the resource allocation practice? Instead, if those were one thing instead of three things, if having a sense of allocation of resources was again part of the conversation you're having about the future instead of something you are strategizing about. So I have this great vision, and it seems like the dilemma is that we don't have the resources and I don't have a strategy, given the sense that we don't have the resources. All of that would be based probably on previous experiences telling you you don't have the resources, you don't have a strategy.
Exactly.
The assessment of that would be based on a past story. So it would mean that alchemically speaking, transformatively speaking, your story is not high enough yet. The vision was powerful enough if the vision was high enough. What looks like the lack of strategy and resources would just be an invitation to go deeper into what wants to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So that you wouldn't buy that you don't have the strategy or the resources. That just means that the conversation hasn't gone far enough yet.
Well, you could say that your perspective isn't high enough. If you're just seeing what you just said, the strategy's gummed up and I don't have enough resource.
How would I recognize if I had enough resources? Or what? That'd be one question. What would it mean if I had enough resources? What would that even mean?
Yeah.
For this highest vision of possibility, what would be the resources I need or we need? And where are they right now? It's out there. There's no dearth of money. There are trillions of dollars that flow every single day around the world, many trillions of dollars. There's always enough money and resources, just do you have access to them? So if you just said, I don't have the resources, it means you don't have the conversation yet. Because if you had the conversation, then the resources potentially could show up.
You've been listening to the Huberson Project, where leading with the future is the difference that makes the difference. Thank you to Lindsay Sterling for the music. If you'd like to stay tuned to further episodes, please subscribe to this podcast. See you in the next episode.